Hey guys, what's up? It's Looney TNT. So today we're going to talk about a little bit different discussion, maybe not some guides and things, but we're going to discuss the worst part of Warlords of Draenor. Now, let me start off with saying Warlords of Draenor has been really fun. The leveling process has been super amazing. The PvP, there's some classes that are a little unbalanced, but overall, I feel the PvP has been a lot of fun this season, and the raids and things have been amazing on my DPS. On my Destruction Warlock, I've had a lot of fun with them. Now that's when I come into the worst part of Warlords of Draenor for me. As a tank, like if you click, tanks always get their insta Q, and they get this little satchel for queuing in as a tank. Now, why does nobody want to queue in as a tank? I'll tell you why. Because it sucks. And it's not that the mechanics or anything like that are bad. I didn't realize this was a problem until I started gearing up my tank, starting to gear up my tank, and starting to play as my tank. As a Destruction Warlock, I go in there and I pull 15 to 17k on a boss. And usually I'm either teamed up with a friend or even my wife, and they pull about the same thing that I pull as a DPS. So these heroics, we're smashing these heroics. We don't wipe on the heroics. It's a fun, enjoyable time. The mechanics are really fun, and everything's good to go, right? Well, I queued in as a tank, and I started to do some heroics as a tank. And I came to realize, if you don't have good DPS, you cannot kill the bosses and heroics. And with the mechanics they have now, which I'm not saying nerf any mechanics, I think the mechanics are fantastic. It's a lot of fun. But for a lot of players, I don't know how they beat these heroics. Because I was just with a group, it was two groups in a row. One last night, I was in Skyreach, I believe it was, for 2 hours. Maybe it was 1.5 hours. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but it felt that long. And we kept dying on the, it was the boss where you have to hide behind the pillar because he does his AoE attack, and the DPS has to kill the birds and make sure not to kill the birds in the ashes or they explode type of thing, right? Well, the DPS and the healers that we've had no idea how to do the fights. And I'm not saying I'm some elitist pro because, I'm a new tank. I told the group, hey, I'm new. I'm just trying to learn. This is my first experience is tanking heroics. So we go in there and we wipe on the first the second pack of trash because maybe I accidentally pulled too much. So that was, maybe that was my fault. But the further we got into it, the first boss we wiped about 5 times. The healer was full mana. They kept standing and stuff. It was where they dropped the little air thing, and the air circles around, and you got to make sure they're not standing in the air, type of deal. And every time I was the last one alive, every single time. And I figured, okay, it's not a big deal. I'm a new tank. I understand where they're coming from. Maybe they're new to the fight too. But they start saying, you suck, you suck, you suck. They keep arguing with each other on how bad everybody else sucks. So finally we get one guy to leave, and then we get a warlock in the group. The warlock is doing a fairly decent DPS, and then they blamed the mage because we killed the boss. Well, it was the mage's fault. Well, I believe it was the healer's fault for not being able to heal the raid very well. But, I'm not going to judge anybody. So we go to the second boss. Second boss, we kill. It wasn't a big deal. Everybody was about 10% health when the boss died, and the healer was about 75% mana. But that's okay. So we get to the third boss, which is the boss where you have to hide behind the pillar. I was on that boss for about an hour. Kept wiping. Same thing over and over and over. But it was at one of those points where I'm the new tank. I'm not going to get frustrated about it. It's not a big deal. Let me move my character. it wasn't something for me to sit there and say, hey, you guys are doing this wrong. You guys are doing this wrong. I told them, what I knew of the fight, and it was what it was. So after about an hour, everybody left except me, and I got 4 new players because people were periodically leaving here and there, obviously. But finally, I got everybody to leave except me, and I got 4 new players, and we one-shotted the boss, and we one-shotted the rest of the instance. We actually had 3 decent DPS and a decent healer. I'm an okay tank. I don't even think I'm a decent tank. I think I'm an okay tank. And I think it takes decent players to get through these heroics, which is cool. I really like that. But it's frustrating. It really is frustrating to be a tank or even a healer, and your DPS cannot keep up. And the reason this discussion came up was today I was in another one where I was out DPSing every single DPS in tank, and I'm not talking about AoE because our AoE is pretty ridiculous, but I'm talking about single target boss fights. We got to one boss, and it was the boss. I forget the heroic's name, but it's the boss where they drop the swords on 2 people, and you got to move out, and then the boss summons the sacrifice guy. Apologize for that. I had a yawn real quick, so I had to pause. But where they summon the sacrifice guy, and if he reaches the boss, he heals, and and so on. There's those mines around the circle. So we were on that for such a long time, and I would have to switch to the ad for us to be able to kill the ad. The DPS couldn't do it. And I'm not saying I shouldn't have to. I'm just simply saying the DPS should be able to kill that, especially when we had 3 ranged DPS. The problem we had 3 DPS that were really bad in the group. We had the Warlock wasn't bad. The Warlock was pulling about 9k DPS overall, which I'm not going to complain about. It was better than the at the end of the group we didn't have all range. We had a Death Knight, a Hunter, and a Warlock. And the Death Knight was pulling about 7k, and the Hunter was pulling about 5k DPS, which I don't understand. So I guess what I'm trying to get to is, I don't know how you can fix that, because it's just people being stupid and people not understanding how to play. Well, the way to fix that is on me. The way to fix that is on the players. And that is just to simply group with my guild, or group with the friends that I have. But the problem with that is now a DPS queue is 17, 25 minutes. It's just going to increase. It's just going to go higher and higher and higher, because tanks and healers do not want to do a random heroic with people that have no idea. Especially this early in the expansion, a lot of times gear fixes stupidity. But in this instance right here, how do you fix that? Other than me just playing with my guild and just learning how to tank with those guys, And I'm not saying I completely don't know what I'm doing. I got silver in Proving Grounds, yay, But and that was a joke. But I did get silver in Proving Grounds, but that's a joke, because you have to have it for heroics. But what do you do to fix it? Other than play with your guild, and then DPS queues go up to 45 minutes. So I don't know. Just my thoughts. I just want to ramble on a little bit today. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for all the support on the channel. You guys are super amazing. I'm really enjoying the YouTube right now. I just hit 940 subscribers. So thank you guys for that. We're approaching 1,000. That would be amazing if I can hit the 1,000 mark. That's the goal. I think that's about it. All right, guys. Thank you guys for the support, and I'll talk to you guys later.